Or what is the most difficult death to recover from?
That's a very good question, by the way. And again, like I said, if I go back again to the four types of deaths we spoke about, the natural one, you die peacefully, and death through accidents, with tragic death, right? Suicide or homicide. It all depends. Again, the connection with the deceased person, and also how old is the person who died, how old are you, right, the giver, and it's a mixture of everything. Which one? It all depends on the connection that you have. For instance, we might say, the husband might say, oh, the loss, the death of my husband is the highest to bear, because I will have to learn to be a widow in the world without him, right? Some might say, no, my child is the hardest one, because let's say that I have, he is my only child that I have. That means as his death, there is no meaning in life for me.
And no parent should bury a child, like
That
we
is,
always say.
yeah, it is tough. And I think the death of a child is always hard for any parent to bear, right? It's tough.
But you know what? It's a good thing that you mention it. So you say, even myself, I don't have any children, right? But each time that I've heard about the passing of a child, it's hit me hard.
Yeah.
So it's like if somebody who's 75, 80, 90, 100 pass, so I understand for the loved ones, the direct loved ones, so they're gonna feel it. So it's like, oh, you know what, my mother passed, my mother was 90 or 70
Yeah,
or 90, so or 100. So, and I'm like, I'm most likely, so I'll use some wisdom not to say, oh, he or she was old enough.
yeah, yeah.
But
It is expected.
but at the same talking, we know that the word that we were leading to,
Yeah.
because death is also part of life,
We are born to
right?
die, right?
So we were born to die. So, but when you have like a child who like, like a baby, a child, a teenager, a young adult, pass away, it's really, it hits me heavy. Always hit me heavy. Compared if it was somebody who died, at the age of 80 plus.
And this is so true. If we want to do some spirituality to that, we say even Jesus Christ empathizes with the loss of a child when it comes to the son of the widow, the name in the vision of name, right? The widow, she was crying as they are going to bury the only child that she had. And this was so painful it was for that woman, right? And he stabbed the casket bearers, and he tapped the coffin and said, man, I tell you to rise. And he raised him from the dead and gave it back to his mother. Why? Because it's so painful. It's as a mother and not having a husband. The only thing that she had then was the son. And dying at a young age, she just like get lost, right? Again, I would say that the loss of a child, of course, is always hard.
Yeah, so
True,
it's no, it's hard, it's painful. I will not wish that even upon my worst
Of course,
enemy.
enemies, of course not. Of course not. It's tough.
It's really tough. So it's like some people, sometimes may recover, but you find people who will never be able to recover from the loss of a
That's
child.
how it happens sometimes. That can lead to suicide. Because after all, you see that you are a widow. You have no husband, right? So the only thing that you have is your child, your only child, who happened to die. So what does the world looks like to you?
Now you're living in a world with no purpose.
It's like, that's it. The point is now it's time for me to go. That lead to depressions, isolations, and before you know it, slowly they are dying until they find their way to meet again with the lost one.